Yo.
Yes, sir. What's up, guys?
Yes. This DJ will kick the floor in 3, 2, 1.
On the troll. On the troll.
Hello and welcome to Mzansi. We are back again. It is that time for us to actually take you through what happened. And obviously, put our only 2 cents because we're not in court. In court, you are allowed to lie if it's a mistake. And there is some certain case that seems to be the cornerstone of that. And that case says, if you make a mistake, someone must not use that mistake to their advantage. Yeah. So the question that I have for these learned, as they would refer to themselves, these learned colleagues, what determines a mistake? In football, my mistake, your mistake is my gain. You make a mistake, I punish you. But in the court of law, according to this judge, mistakes should be corrected. They should be corrected. It must not gain one part and then deprive the other part a chance. Now, I fully agree with some of that, but I would like to throw a spin on it. What if my mistake is truly to cause confusion and make the case even worse? And I'm still allowed, in any case, to throw another theory in whatever that I gave. I give you something, and then I change it, and I deny it, and I denounce it. So that now should not be used. Once I denounce it, it should not be used. So whatever that I could have said, if I said I saw you more darker, Emily, and then eventually say, oh no, actually you are not more darker. You were not more darker. You were a bit light. It's okay. It's okay. I can correct it. I'm allowed to do so. And that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing happening here. That you are allowed to correct. As long as it does not benefit the other one, which is the defense in this case. This is what I've been getting from this so-called, what is it? Proceedings. Does it make sense to you?
No.
Who determines what a mistake is? Can't we confuse a mistake to a lie? Can a mistake be a lie? Can I lie and call it a mistake?
No, the demeanor of Tumelo tells you what is going on without him saying it.
No. I fully understand what you're saying. But I'm saying,
demeanor,
so today,
tells the whole story.
So today, if I was to lie, Emil, I was to say something out of, like, okay, you ask me what's the day today and say Saturday. So to determine whether that is a mistake or it's a lie, who's the god of that? Who's gonna be? What if I'm saying it's Saturday so that it benefits me, and I make my assertion to you, and you must accept them because I've just said it's Saturday, and you must accept it as if it's Saturday. Do you understand? I can be absent at work and claim that it was an honest mistake. I thought it was Saturday, as it is Thursday today.
But the work has systems to determine what day it is.
Yeah, but I made a mistake and I am absent from work.
Well, that would be considered a lie.
Right. So that is how law works then. That is how I'm trying to show you that there are many ways of killing or of skinning a certain cat. You skin it like that, or you actually tell the truth.
I'm fed up.
You are fed up. It's okay. We accept that. We accept that. So let us roll. I think greetings to everyone. Please like the video, share the video, do everything that you can do with the video that is correct, other than taking our content. Obviously, that is not correct. If you take our content, then that's where we have a problem. But if you would like to, whether it lie or do whatever, you can lie as long as it's still acceptable for you to reverse that. That's basically the gist of today's story. Emily, let us roll.
Okay, let me switch off this. Hi guys, welcome back to the Mzansi Reality YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us yet again for another one of the discussions, analysis, and the discussion on the court proceedings of the Senzo Meyiwa trial. At this point, it's lopsided. Me, I don't understand what's going on. But let's start with what happened this morning. Madlala said that he made his first statement on the 27th of October 2014 after he was fetched by the police from Malbatten to Vosloorus police station together with Kelly, Zandile, and Gladness Kumalo. Kumalo asked, when you made the statement, were there other people there? And Madlala said it was just the officer who interviewed him and not anyone else in where he was taking the statement. So in which language was it conducted in? And Madlala said Zulu. Ngumalo asked, is it stated in your statement that the gun carried by the first intruder was a 3.8 special? Is that what you told the police? And Madlala said, I don't know what a 3.8 special is. All I did was to give a description of a firearm with a wheel.
Yeah, a firearm with a wheel.
Ngumalo said, you also say that you heard 3 shots, but in your evidence in chief, you testified that you only heard 1 shot. And Madlala said, this one of the 3 shots, I don't know. Since I started making statements, I've always said I heard 1 shot. I have never said I heard 3 shots. I don't know where that is coming from. Ngumalo read from Madlala's statement, and it said, and I quote, the description of the suspect is as follows: slender, tall, dark in complexion, wearing a brownish leather jacket. He had dreadlocks on.
We can also add.
Madlala said the one with the brown jacket is the short one. This leather jacket, it was a leather jacket now in the statement.
Yeah, there was a jacket. However, what has been the order of the day, there was no color in it. And also the texture of the jacket was not highlighted. Now it is highlighted as whether fake or original leather. Yes. Now we have a leather jacket that is brownish, right?
It's not leather now. They are saying it was beige in color. They're not saying it was a leather jacket, the other witnesses. Okay, but it's a surprising, this statement. This statement is very telling. Okay, but then the one is the second intruder. That's what Madlala said. And the one with the brown jacket is the small one or the short one. He said, I can be able to identify one of them. He had left on the scene. No one was shot except Senzo. Ngumalo asked, when you were stating that you can be able to identify one of them, which one was amongst the one that you were going to be able to identify?
Both of them.
And Dumelo said the person who was writing the statement was asking me that I was able to point out to the intruders, and I never said that I would be unable to point to the person out if it happens that I see them. Between the 2 intruders, which one amongst them were you saying that you can be able to identify? And Dumelo said, I would be able to point the 2 of them if they were brought in front of me.
What an additional twist. When you have them in court, now you can. I don't know, man. I know it's wrong, but this is where now I say, do you see both of them today?
Kombu number, second intruder.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the second intruder is
Might as well finish your job.
Yeah.
Komba naye. Sibone. Wanna see something. Then Ngumalo says, let us not try to run away from the question. Where I am is, you said in your statement, I can be able to identify one of them. So I'm asking you, which one were you saying that you can identify? The one with the dreadlocks or the tall one? And Tumelo said, like I said, if they appeared both of them, I would be able to point them. In court, I was able to point at one because I've seen them here in this court. Just like I said, Ngumalo asks, for the sake of progress, I'm not going to repeat this question to you. I will leave it for argument at a later stage. Now, why would Tumelo in a statement say that he pointed one and would want to change his mind in court today? And now, why can't he point both? Just point both. Do what you want to do.
Finish it.
Ngumalo
You have
requested,
the chance.
you have the chance in the platform, Akir, and then cry again. I want to see something. Every time he has to point, he cries.
You know? It's a good thing because it didn't waste now any time after that. Because, hey, pointing the second one would
And
have
then he
led.
comes back 3 days later and says, I'm Sabi. I'm not afraid of you. Woo! This circus. Ngumalo then requests for Tumelo's statement that was made on the 27th of October 2014 be handed in as an exhibit. Now he asks, sir, do you remember that I asked you regarding the statement, the question whether you were able to see the first shot that was fired in the kitchen? You said you could not see, and Tumelo said yes. I'm going to refer you to the transcribed record of the evidence of Zandile Khumalo on the 18th of July 2023. Her evidence when she was being led by the state council, she said, and I quote, when the firearm went off, I then heard something hitting the floor, and then a spark went off, and then it hit my foot, or hit me on my foot. Then Mr. Interpreter said the line is not interpreted there. They have the one written on the 24th of July. It seemed like they were being handed statements with the wrong dates, in my opinion. In the morning, it was just a mess because he was saying that he has one that's from the 24th of July when it was, he couldn't find the line. It was very weird. And then Ngumalo said, then there was a question by Advocate Baloyi, and he asked, if you say first something hit the floor, you could see where it hit the floor. Now, he was reading from the transcribes of Zandile Khumalo's testimony. And then when I heard that it hit the floor, it so happened that Tumelo and I had it. So we had the same thing. I ran into the bathroom and he ran into the bedroom. And then Ngumalo asked, what is your comment about the first shot hitting the floor and you running into the bedroom and her running into the bathroom? Tumelo said, what she is saying about us running away, me going to the bedroom and her going to the bathroom, I didn't see where she ran to. Even after we came back from the hospital, I did not see where the bullet hit. What I know is that she showed us her right foot, a small thing like it was burned, just a small wound, not that big, was on her ankle or below her ankle. So you did not see when the gunshot went off and hit the floor in the kitchen. Tumelo said, no, I did not see that. Just like I said, we heard it from her as she was showing us where she was hurt on below her right ankle. So Ngumalo asked, so now you disavow both what you said in your statement that the deceased was shot in the chest and what Zandile Khumalo is saying in her evidence in chief that when the shot went off, it hit the floor. You were also present. You felt the same thing. Advocate Baloyi stood to object when he said the deceased was hit on the chest. He was saying that in retrospect, thinking about the past. So Baloyi was objecting Tumelo from saying that according to him, that first shot could have been the one that went into Senzo. Right? He's trying to debunk that. And the judge said inferential reasoning, seeing a person who had a white t-shirt, it had no blood stain. Subsequently, you see the same person with the blood-stained t-shirt and he's lying on the floor. Inferential reasoning, he didn't see it. After the event, he sees it that this person was shot on the chest. And I had no idea what the heck he's talking about.
So basically, what I've gathered about this inferential, like reference, I think.
Inferential reference.
Yeah. So what I've gathered is that what is saying is that if the sequence of things are not saying what you are putting to that person, then do not put it because you are like casting aspersion.
Okay.
That's basically what I gathered on that thing. So don't assume because you were told that someone didn't have blood in their t-shirt and they come back and they have blood now. Therefore, it's a lie.
Okay.
That's what I heard.
Okay, you tried. Hello, I can help us out. Anybody who works for the court, because I've been getting comments. I work for the court. Please, this is your opportunity to translate what the judge was saying there. We'd appreciate it very much. Malo then asked, yes, I do agree, my lord. Well, he didn't ask, but do you agree with me that the manner in which the statement is documented in relation to the injury in the chest, it is not documented in the sense that it is something that you saw after you heard the gunshot? And Tumelo said, yes, I saw after the incident. It was not easy to see the same thing. If you also look at it, it was not easy to see the same thing, because even now I cannot say how Senzo was shot. And when I saw, after all I heard was the sound of the gun. The last time I saw Senzo, we were in the kitchen. I saw when I came back from the bedroom that he was shot and he was lying down at the dining room. So at least he's admitting two things. Number one is that he didn't see Senzo get shot. Okay, check. And that when he came out of the bedroom, Senzo was lying in the dining room. Check. Right? Malo then said, when the deceased was fighting with the second intruder, can you demonstrate using the photo where was the second intruder? And Tumelo said he was facing the house. Senzo was standing there, and he says he was standing next to Senzo. So Malo asked, where was the first intruder, the one with the dreadlocks at the time? And Tumelo said there was somewhere here behind us. In that tiny kitchen. Then Tumelo said, was he behind the deceased? And Tumelo said, I wouldn't say exactly because I was facing the other way, but the noise was behind me. Tumelo asked, I mean the first intruder, the one with dreadlocks, was he behind the deceased or was he behind all of you standing there? And Tumelo said he was behind me and Senzo because we were facing the other way.
Yeah. So basically positioning even the second intruder could have been the person that took the shot. First intruder, I mean, because if the second intruder could not have a gun, then obviously it must be that the first intruder is the one that shot. So behind but sideways would actually accommodate for that. But then if you look at how the bullet went through,
it debunks.
It would say that person was more direct than an indirect person.
Shot in the
I
chest.
think that's basically in my own observation or my thinking.
Well, Tumelo said the one with the dreadlocks in relation to Senzo, where was he? And Tumelo said he was behind both of us because we were facing the other way. Obvious, a person standing behind us, even if they are on the right side or on the left side, they are still behind us. So even if I can't explain because he was being hit by Zandi's mother, Kelly and Zandi, I won't say how he was moving, but they were behind us. Tumelo asked, now one by one, in relation to where the deceased was, where is the first intruder? And Tumelo said, how will I see the exact position when we are facing the other way, facing the first intruder? How would I have seen exactly how they were standing? Because what I know is that he was behind me. I could also hear the noise of the crutches and the drawers and spoons.
The noise is captured. All kind of noise is captured.
Remember
up until
how when Zandi was testifying, and I was actually telling you guys that Zandi's testimony has just screwed mostly Tumelo and Mthokozisi up. Because her testimony is very different. And now Tumelo, what he's saying is extremely different to both Zandi and Mthokozisi. And there was no way he could change his story that extremely. Even if it's de novo, he was just gonna give it all to us that we are watching a drama series. So now, this part right here, that's when I realized and I could pick up that Zandi kind of messed Tumelo up. Because Aklangani. In fact, Zandi's tussle in the kitchen makes more sense than Tumelo's right now. It really does.
it does.
So he's in trouble. This part right here in argument, this is Okala. Ngumalo then said, so what you are saying is that you and the deceased were facing the second intruder. And Tumelo said, yes. When the gunshot went off facing this one. So the first intruder was behind you. And Tumelo said, yes. You also told this court in your evidence in chief that at the time the deceased had pinned the second intruder to the wall. Which wall were you referring to? And Tumelo said, next to the door.
There's no space that much in that wall. It's either you are standing on a door itself, half a big piece of wall, because you know how these things are. There are cupboards this side,
Yes.
and then
There's a sink somewhere,
yeah,
there's a stove, there's a
that
fridge.
kitchen is not that.
It was occupied. It was just
It's
the
busy.
door opening, and then we are puma no muyangena. I don't know what wall he's talking about basically, and it does this thing of the state not showing the public exhibits, because now we have to go back and think before de novo those exhibits that there was no wall in that kitchen.
Yeah.
There really wasn't. So now we have to think.
Even though you hide them, we still remember a bit of what we saw. We cannot de novo our minds. We saw it.
Akunabonda kulela kishi.
Dingani. It's a piece. Peace.
Hi. You also confirmed in your evidence in chief that the deceased held the hand of the second intruder upwards. Tumelo said, yes, that is so. Ngumalo referred Tumelo to the post-mortem report. Advocate Baloyi objected again.
And the judge
To
objected.
say that they have previously objected the use of documents compiled by expert witnesses. We are going to again raise the objection. This witness is a lame person. He cannot comment on the evidence of an expert. Now, I have a question. Why is Mr. Baloyi limiting the court? Where is the rule of the court where expert evidence cannot be presented to witnesses that are laymen? I mean, I'd like to see it if it exists. How are the defense attorneys supposed to, defense advocates supposed to argue? How are they supposed to argue for their clients if they're not supposed to use expert witness exhibits? So the
Correct.
judge...
It's a bit true. There's truth in it. Because in a sense, you can apply that case, that, what do we call it? It's a demigod case that you'd see there. the judge that the judge always uses. Yes, I mean, depending on how you are going to ask your
But
questions.
expert evidence can be simplified. It can be made into actually drive like this was to show that the bullet entered the chest, not the back, according to the postmortem. So if you are saying a layman is not supposed to know that, what are we doing? What are we doing? That's my question. Just because he's a layman is not supposed to know that the bullet entered the chest. That's what I felt like. But the judge said you want the witness to comment on what? Post-mortem. And Ngumalo said, I just want the witness to listen. Then the judge said, to listen to what? Ngumalo said, to the findings by the doctor. The judge said, oh, I see. Ngumalo read from the post-mortem under external appearance of the body, saying that the bullet entered the chest and exited the back. Now, and I quote from this post-mortem, the language is kind of heavy. Situated over the right interior chest wall, 1 centimeters to the right of the midline and 1.35 centimeters above the hin, is a 3 centimeter by 1 centimeter oval shaped lacerated wound. There is a semicircular abrasion situated over the superior and inferior aspect, measuring 0.3 centimeters superiorly and 0.5 centimeters inferiorly. The wound edges appear sheared, situated below the skin, lacking granular material consistent with gunshot residue, are noted in the underlying soft tissue. This wound is consistent with the contact bullet entrance wound. There is a 1.3 centimeter by 0.7 centimeter oval shape lacerated wound situated over the right posterior wall, 4.5 centimeter to the right of the midline and 1.26 centimeters above the hin. This is consistent with the exit wound. So Ngumalo said, what is of interest to me is the following. If your evidence is to be believed that the deceased is fighting with the second intruder, he's holding the second intruder's hand upwards, how did the deceased sustain gunshot wounds, the entrance to the chest and the exit to the back, if he was fighting with the second intruder who was not in possession of a firearm? Can you explain that? And Baloyi stood to object. The judge said the witness is very clear. You are asking the question, where did the bullet land? And he said he never saw it. He didn't see it. He doesn't even know. He just heard a deafening sound. He never said when the deceased was pinning the right upper arm of whatever intruder the gunshot rang. He never said that it's not the evidence. I agree. Tumelo didn't see who shot Senzo.
Yeah.
So-
No, I also agree with that.
Asiqhubekeni ngempilo. Ngumalo rephrased the question. At what stage did you hear the sound of a gunshot at a time when the deceased was fighting with the second intruder? And Tumelo said, we were in the kitchen. I heard when we were in the kitchen the gunshot. Ngumalo asked, you said the second intruder, the one with dreadlocks, was behind you. And Tumelo said, yes, it is so. You told this court that you did not see where the first gunshot landed. And Tumelo said, I didn't see where it went. It's only noise I heard. Even after the incident, I didn't see where the bullets hit. I only saw after the incident as the police were showing us. The judge wouldn't allow any more questions emanating from the post-mortem report. So Ngumalo had to close it. Ngumalo now read from a statement by Kelly Khumalo, in part, okay, and I quote from Kelly Khumalo's statement. The one suspect with a gun was threatening the people in the living room, and the tall, skinny one left the bedroom door and went to the living room where his friend was. I then remembered that my child was in the other bedroom, and I opened the door to go and see what was happening. I then saw my mom struggling with the tall, skinny guy and Senzo. The tall, skinny guy and Senzo, Tumelo, and Togo were busy struggling with the gunman.
Now, this, I want you to understand one thing. you should, if you have been following since we started this new proceedings, we have been seeing a lot of robust words that are going towards Kelly.
Yes.
And that is after de novo, you know? Now, what you can or might actually have to think about is whatever that happened behind
The scene.
the scenes is probably coming into play now. Why do I say that?
Why?
I feel like Kelly is on his own now. That's my feeling. Do you understand? You are on your own. Whatever that might have been the problem, I don't know. Because initially, all it was well. You know, everything was going according, I think, according to the plan, or if there was a plan. But I would say, yeah, there was a plan because every court has a plan. All of a sudden, after we have been told from the word go that Kelly is not going to come
As a witness.
for the state.
state.
There is this, is getting this, and this is my observation, she's getting the same treatment that Joyce Buteles is getting. She's getting the same treatment that the book is getting, the Soweto book
Matlands.
is getting. So that should then raise a question to you as a viewer, as we are watching here. What has changed? And what is it that has changed? And whatever that has changed, it is not good for Kelly. Because now it's coming down. I don't know. This treatment, I've seen it from the people who have different statements, from the people who have a different version of what happened there. Now, here's the question for you. Is she going to give us a different version? Is she willing to now come and give us maybe a different version from what we have been hearing all along? That's a question that I would leave with you. And maybe you should also start thinking that as much as we had trust before that there's going to be someone who's going to come and sing a different version, and we put more faith in Togo. And at the time, it seems before de novo there was a lot of exclusion when it comes to Togo. But now Togo is sort of incorporated in a sense. For me, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing Togo is incorporated
In your opinion.
to such an extent that to me would defend Mtogo. Now we're not told about Mtogo being busy with the phone, the traits that were following each other. Now Mtogo is this good guy who
doesn't
was
like
in
to
the
fight.
house, who doesn't like to fight. By the way, who Tumelo can remember vividly that he never engaged in any fight in that house.
Now, this part is interesting because Kelly's statement is corroborating with everybody with regards to the scuffle or the tussle, except for Tumelo. Tumelo is the only one who insists that he was busy. Senzo was busy with the second intruder, held his arm behind the door or whatever.
Yes.
But Kelly's one is saying, no, Tumelo Mtogo and Senzo were busy with the gunman, the first intruder. My mother was busy with the tall one. Do you understand?
Yes.
Continuing from the statement that belongs to Kelly, it says, I then tried to help my mother to push the tall one. And I didn't know or see what was happening behind me. I only heard a gunshot. I jumped backward and my sister said something hit her and she thought she was shot. I then saw Senzo running towards me, trying to grab me. I grabbed him, but I could see that he was weak. He fell into my arms and I saw a spot of blood on his back.
There is also a contradiction there. I'm not sure if it's me or I'm making it in my mind. Correct me if I'm wrong, your one. So the question is, everyone took cover and they went to hide. And that's what we have been told before. That everyone, after that, initially Kale went to hide and then came back, and God knows how, and then he went to fight and assist the family and everyone. And then after the shooting, everyone went to hide. I mean, according to Zandi also,
Yes.
everyone went to hide. Now, I would assume Kelly went to. We even asked, how can you leave your kid? No, actually, that's an initial one. So the second one, everyone went to hide after that shot. But now, when you say you saw Senzo coming towards you, that means you didn't go to hide for the second time.
Now she says, I saw a spot of blood on his back and I turned him over and I saw a lot of blood on his chest. Now, doesn't that corroborate with the postmortem?
It would say that means there was more blood in that house.
He fell over the couch and I held him while screaming for help. At that time, the gunman was still in the house. My son was standing next to him. Ngumalo asked, did you at some point struggle with the gunman? Asking Tumelo this question. The first intruder, that is you, Senzo and Mtogozisi. And Madlala said, Kelly must come and explain that, because even the blood she's talking about, where did she see it? I only saw blood spots. She must come and explain what she wrote. That statement is like Soweto's book. Mtogo is not a person who likes fighting. And I don't remember seeing Mtogo fighting. The people I remember is that Mtogo was behind, and when he left running away. So that he was fighting, I don't remember it. I don't even want to say that I don't remember. Mtogo never fought. He never fought. I would like the statement to be put aside and let that person come here and explain that nonsense she wrote.
Yo, you hear what I'm saying? Now we have a group of frenemies. Kelly, according to me, has just joined that group.
I'm going to share my opinion. Now, after this, I'm definitely starting to believe what Kelly wrote here in this part of the statement perhaps is what transpired. She kept saying Senzo died in her arms at some point in interviews, whatever. Even on the Netflix documentary, there's a quote where she's saying that. I'm starting to believe that.
What are you believing?
The fact that she died, Senzo died in
The
her
fact.
arms. Not a fact, but an opinion. Right now, it's still an allegedly.
Oh, it's a fact if she said it.
Well, she said it in the documentary, in the Netflix documentary. And you could tell that she's speaking from a place of deep sense of emotion. She was even a mess when she said it in some performance. And it has kept ringing in my head that she wouldn't say that just because she wanted to be relevant.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's even in her statement, there's something there.
There's something.
There's
There's
something
more
there.
than what meets the eyes.
And perhaps even Tumelo's reaction itself is telling. Why would he call it nonsense if that is what Kelly experienced?
Mind
It's
you,
like-
this is someone who accommodated you after this whole incident
Exactly, for 5 days.
for 5 days.
So why would you want to debunk that experience? Why would you want to take it away from her? It's like us saying that what you wrote in your statement is nonsense.
And what is interesting is the selective way of choosing what to comment on other people's statements, with more emphasis of what you should never ask me about anything else that is in other people's statements,
Like
but
they
yet
can-
you want to debunk and
Another person's
Yes.
statement.
when it suits you, I would like to believe when it suits him, he would do that.
Calling it nonsense was extreme. Comparing it to Soweto Madlanzi and the experience you had with him was kind of like, whoa.
What is for me sort of clear is that whatever theory that now she holds, and that is Kaylee that I'm talking about, it is not in favor of what we have been told. This is now at this point, after Genova and all that, I feel like there is a bit of a change of things. Do you understand? And that change of things is not something that is kind of welcome in this situation.
Numelo asked, did the police arrive before you went to the hospital? And Tumelo said, I remember when we came back. I don't remember before we left. Did you see any police vehicle before you left for the hospital around the vicinity of the incident? And Tumelo said, there is none that I saw myself. There's none that I saw. The police, I remember seeing them when we came back from the hospital. Numelo asked, you also referred this court to a hat that was discovered upon your return from the hospital. Tumelo said, yes, it is so. Numelo said, you also told this court that this hat was worn by the first intruder. Tumelo said, yes, it is so. Do you know or did you see when it came off the first intruder's head? And Tumelo said, no, I didn't see. But you yourself say that you wear a cap. In your lifetime, do you wear a cap? And Tumelo said, no, a hat. I do wear hats, not a cap. But that type of hard hat, the ones that are soft, I only wear the ones that are soft and you can be able to fold them, not that one. So you are saying that you don't wear hats similar to the one that was found. Tumelo said, hi, never, since I was born.
Yeah, let us remind people to like the video and share the video. Subscribe also, guys, please. Just a reminder, I see 200 out of 751 that I'm seeing here. Can we please press that like button, and it should at least be at 400. And I'll remind you again, so that we reach that 700 likes. There is that talk of people watching after live. Those people, they usually give us more likes.
Yes.
So that means
actually.
then we should record this and then upload it, if that is the case. Yeah.
So is it correct that on the 29th of October, you attended an ID kit that was conducted by Warrant Officer Steenkamp? Tumelo said, yes, even though I'm not certain of the dates, but there was a time we were called for that. Tumelo asked, Warrant Officer Steenkamp says the third person she interviewed was you, Tumelo Madlala, who was traumatized. Madlala said, she's right, I was traumatized. Ngumalo said, she says you saw the tussle between suspect A and the deceased. After hearing the gun, he ran into one of the bedroom. He gave a similar description of suspect A. He could not give the description of the second suspect. Yet in 2023, he's pointing him in the court. Did you hear that?
Repeat that.
Did you hear that?
Repeat that.
He gave a similar description of suspect A, the one with the dreadlocks. He could not give the description of the second suspect, the one with the hoodie.
Yes, I remember that. I even noted it. So that now aligns with the theory of saying I can only identify one intruder, which he's the one who debunked his own statement, saying, actually, I can identify both if I see them.
Yet in 2023, right now, in this week, he has boldly pointed the second intruder in the courts. But he couldn't describe him.
No.
Is he going to get another statement? Is it already done where he's debunking what Steenkamp said on that statement?
Look, it's nice, man. It's nice. It's nice. After cross-examining you,
No,
someone
they
can
must
just
just be transparent because it seems like kuzazo debunkwa ke.
yeah, they even debunk their own statements.
So they're gonna try and debunk what.
But I saw this thing. Remember, initially, Judge Afro did not oppose any credentials or any education level questions. This one in particular is against that.
Yes.
Is against that. According to me, is not gonna allow that. You know, and that comes into play when someone says, "I did not understand what was written there." You debunk the level of education when someone says, "I need to understand on how to address you."
He wants to argue
And then
to say that.
and then you say that does not matter. And then when it comes to now the statement that you signed on, and then now all of a sudden you are selective in what you can pick on that statement and what is right and what is wrong in that statement. I don't know, these police are crazy. And to top it all, the judge comes in and say, "Hey, these South African police," basically putting a stamp in my own opinion to what these people are saying. These police are they don't know what they are doing, right?
Wow. It sure is a lot of them that are being accused of not knowing what they're doing. They're even trying it with Steenkamp, who has over 25 years experience in the police force, according to what she said in the documentary. So Dumelo confirmed that he did tell Steenkamp that he saw the deceased in a tussle with the first suspect. However, he denied that he could not identify the second suspect. He said, "I am surprised by that because if you read from my first statement from Vosloorus, you will realize that I did say I could describe the second suspect. I am stunned when I wrote that I would not be able to point them. I don't know that." So he's denying
debunking where you put your...
what Officer Steenkamp said he told her. Mtokozi Sitwala told the court that the first suspect, the one with dreadlocks, was wearing a hoodie jacket. Baloy objected to say that that was miscommunication between him and the statement taker. They're doing it with Mtogo, Mr. Anonymous, as well. There was a miscommunication between him and the statement taker. The judge asked where Nxumalo took it, and he said from the statement, and the judge said it was the first time he was hearing this in his court. So it means the judge doesn't even read statements at this point, allegedly.
Look, and the worry that I have about this judge is what he says is the truth. According to what I'm seeing, what I say is the truth. I couldn't have heard otherwise.
He's gonna make his judgments on what he's hearing in the court.
Do you understand?
He doesn't even look at the state. He's not like Maumela. At least Maumela would want to double check what the statement says.
Yeah.
But
this one is too smart.
This one doesn't.
Too smart. It's
Look
like
at
a computer
statements.
smart person.
He only will make judgments on what he's hearing in court.
Do you understand?
Yeah. That's what we are picking up
And
in
yet,
our opinion.
they are mistaken what he also hears.
Yes. So, Sizobona Pambili. Nxumalo said that he is drawing attention to how the witness in the house, also all the witnesses in the house, also different things. And the judge said, but this witness is persistent that they will not comment on what Rata or Kelly said. So you're going to let them not comment on what the others who were in the same vicinity of the incident had to say. That's very interesting. You're not going to allow them to have anything to say.
You see, if you are going to come with a certain narrative of what could have happened there, even if you're a judge, at least try to listen. That's my own opinion.
What is fairness and what is just? I think we need to go back to learning that because I'm so confused. the difference between fairness and just, and what is a judge supposed to be on the side of, fairness or just? Can someone help me with that? Because this judge is confusing me.
It's confusing all of us.
Ngumalo then said, the witness are telling the court different things. Do you know why? And Baloyi objected to saying it's a general statement. Counsel must be specific in what he is referring to. So Ngumalo said that it would require him to go to the record. So Madlala said that he would not be commenting on contradictions by other witnesses, saying that he's in court of his own statements. Now, in my opinion, you know what this might imply is that he may not have even contributed to the features of the ID kit of suspect number 2 with Steenkamp. And
no, he did. Number 2, yes, he did not. That's what they submitted. That's what they're saying, that you only gave description for suspect number 1.
And that's why the description that he was using to justify his pointing, he was saying that the beard here, there's a beard here and it was trimmed and it was round, which is the description that's on the kit that he did not contribute to put together. How weird is that? That is so weird. The person he was describing is not the person he was pointing in the court with regards to the beard that is just below the lip. Guys, I tried on the community tab. There's one person though who's off-ramping and they're saying that no, they look exactly the same. No, they don't. There's a gap here on his beard. It doesn't grow here.
If you're going to use a beard to...
And it doesn't grow here either. It grows here, and then it leaves a space, and then it leaves a space here. And then like in 2014, it could have grown. I don't see that happening. If you were born with a beard that only grows here, you are born with such a beard. Why must it change when you are 20 years later, or 15 years later, or 10 years later?
By the way, in 2014, they were younger. Let's say certain things hadn't developed at the time. If it was not there then, even if it's there now.
Hardly.
If it's not there now at this age and that picture that you see, then what does that tell you?
Where is this one here? Because it's not there. And you saw there, the one with the hoodie has dreadlocks in the sketch.
In fact, you are telling the truth. What that beard resembled is it looks like Tumelo's beard.
It looks more like Tumelo's beard, yes. Maybe I should post him too in the community tab. And you guys can observe his trimmed beard.
It is worrying. But let's continue, Emil. I don't want to waste any time.
Well, there was a short adjournment, and then coming back from that adjournment, Ngumalo read from a statement by Miss Kumalo. This is Zandi Kumalo. And it said, and then all of us stood up. We then pushed them, both the gentlemen together with the one that was struggling with Kelly for the door, and pushed both of them to the kitchen. Madlala still insisted on only responding to the contents of his own statements only. And Ngumalo highlighted discrepancies between witness statements, among others, where Zandi Kumalo told the court that Madlala grabbed a crutch from her hands during the scuffle. Madlala said, I think what I can react to is that part that says I also took a crutch. I don't remember getting hold of any crutch in that kitchen. Ngumalo said, my lord, I have no further questions. And in this part, I'd like to ask or pose a question. Do you guys think Ngumalo was prepared?
No, look, Ngumalo was prepared. He prepares mostly around what is in front of him, papers and statements.
Trail.
He's good in doing that, and it helps Mshololo also to refresh and properly organize herself.
His cross-examinations always feel so short, though.
Because
I
you are
think it's
playing
stretching
around,
longer.
you can't stretch what is in a statement. What can you say? Read word for word like the first one.
Okay, let's now enter Advocate Zandile Mshololo, who started her cross-examination with the witness. Madlala said that he was getting confused when they say that he must comment and refer to the statements by other people. He said it's going to be difficult for him to respond to what other people have said. He could only respond to what he said. And Madlala said, as long as you were there, when something happened, you can be a witness. I don't understand where qualifications come in there. Now, this was after he was asked whether he had a matric or not, and he decided to be all aggro and not answer that question. He says that it doesn't matter whether a person has a matric or not, and Advocate Mshololo played reverse psychology there, and she was like, okay, Mr. Madlala, it's fine if you don't have a matric.
And then he answered.
And then he said, you know what, I did pass my matric. I've never repeated a class.
That's
I
good
love
for you.
that.
That's good for you.
Then Mshololo said, did you discuss the nature of the relationship between the deceased and Miss Kelly Khumalo? And Madlala said, yes, he knew that they were in a relationship. Mshololo asked, do you know if they had any problems? Madlala said, I cannot say much about that. There are things that happened in the past that have nothing to do with me. Madlala said he had never visited Senzo Meyiwa before, or he had visited Senzo Meyiwa before in Winchester, in Buccleuch, as well as Malbatten. He says that he was acquainted with Kelly Khumalo. In fact, he was used to Kelly Khumalo. He says the reason he left with Kelly from the hospital is because he had visited her house with Meyiwa in Malbatten, and he said he had done it about 3 times before Senzo Meyiwa passed on. So he was a frequent visitor.
Yes.
Mshololo then asked, from the time of the incident and the time of the statement, you were discussing what had happened directly or indirectly. And Madlala said most of the time Kelly was locked up in her room. But before I go into this, there's also another interesting part that I got that I hadn't written. Just after when they discuss him visiting Malbatten 3 times. And he was asked, why did he leave with Kelly?
Why didn't he leave with Ntogo?
Why didn't he leave with Mtogo? That's the part that I wanted you guys not to miss. Why did he leave with Mtogo?
Why didn't he leave with Ntogo?
Yes. And he even, Advocate Mshololo was talking about him even getting food. You know, he was being served food while staying there.
So what Advocate Mshololo was trying to drive here is that he could have been bought to say certain things. That's my thinking, because the word favors, you were done favors. You know, that sort of pushes that, and I liked it. In fact, that line of questioning, I was happy with it. I was very happy.
Me too. I was like, okay, first of all, you've always been a frequent visitor. You were acquainted with Kelly. Kelly Khumalo is even the one who sent you money. And he tried to debunk it, and the judge helped him with that to say that it was Senzo's money. Well, Judge, how do you know it was Senzo's money?
That's a problem. You see, it's true because it comes from his mouth. But if you ask me, that is...
Judge, how do you know that?
That is just out of line.
Because
But
Tumelo never assured anybody that was Senzo's money. He said Kelly's the one who sent
not Kelly.
the
Not
money.
Kelly also. Kelly didn't do that. So as Senzo, because it's not available to do that. And then when you conclude that is Senzo's man.
Judge, how did you know? Were you there? Did Senzo show you that I'm giving this money to Kelly to send to... And I remember when we talk about this and people are like, no, but you guys don't understand. You guys are so hard on the... No, let the witnesses speak for themselves. We needed to find out from Tumelo how is he certain that the money came from Senzo and it didn't come from Kaylee? Remember, Zandi's the one who bought the alcoholic drinks. She searched herself.
The judge even answered the question of who sent money there. You know? When you are asking that question and you want someone physically that sent that money, and the judge comes in, what difference does it make? Because it was sent by, it was from Senzo. How do you know?
Well, there's also more on that aspect because Dumelo slept with Kelly and Zandi and even their mom at Mountbatten, and Advocate Mshololo
They
asked...
slept in one room.
No, in the premises, the flat. We
Yes.
can't really say one room, maybe one apartment.
One apartment, yes.
So they discussed the incident because it was traumatizing. That's what Advocate Mshololo was saying or alluding to. And Tumelo was like, not exactly, because the situation he was in, he was even afraid to sleep with his eyes closed.
So what Mshololo was very sneaky in trying to actually say, before you went to give evidence, you discuss what you are going to say.
And Dumelo also said that Kelly most of the time she'd lock herself in the bedroom. People like Chico Twala and Akumzi would also arrive and visit. Even her mother, Kelly, would entertain the guests and then go back to locking herself inside the bedroom. And her mother would even prepare food. And Mshololo was like, oh, you would even getting food. And he was like, no, they'd offer me food, but sometimes I wouldn't eat because I was traumatized. So he said they were even feeding you food, so they were doing you favors. And he was like, no, they were not doing me favors and all of that. It became very tense.
What do you mean?
What do you mean they were doing me favors?
They were doing you favors.
I don't like it how you are talking. No, Mshololo did a lot of work over there.
I don't understand people who are saying that she didn't do much. No, she actually
she
did
did
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
good things. For me, this is one of the best that
Argument.
I've seen since this case.
Argument she's gonna pull up all of these events that were happening. Those events are very important. If you guys don't understand why they are very important,
Yes,
and
let's
she's
just
gonna
remind
use
you.
them in the arguments.
Let us remind you to like the video. Come on, guys. I see we have 300 people that have liked the video. You all guys binge watching us. Are you serious?
So Mshololo says, so they were feeding you food, and Madlala said they would ask me if I was hungry. So they were doing you favors. Madlala said, I don't understand. Mshololo said they were giving you food. Madlala said, where is this thing of favor coming from? Mshololo said, is taking the witness through a picture depicting the 2 cans of beer and exhibits and bags. So the cans that were consumed would be more than what is depicted on the picture, right? And Madlala said yes. And Mshololo asked, the amount of cans depicted does not reflect the full picture of the amount of alcohol consumed. Madlala said yes, it doesn't show the alcohol in the fridge or empty cans thrown away. Mshololo said, was there anyone who would clean up or throw away the empty cans? And Madlala said, I think so, because we wouldn't just sit with empty cans. These people were drinking.
But at the end of the day, I think the answer was that I did not see anyone picking cans.
But why is he trying to make it sound like there was a person picking up cans?
That is to...
And you didn't see that person.
That is to say that it's not the police fault that they did not take much cans, in a sense. For me, that's what it says. It's not their fault because there were few cans that they found there.
Even from the fridge, someone would fetch the cans. Okay, I get that part. But picking up of the cans, why now you don't want to be direct about it is very sketchy. Mshololo then asked, did you see anyone removing cans up to the time you went to the hospital? And Madlala said no. Mshololo asked, by the time when you left to the hospital, is there no one who cleaned the floor inside the lounge where you had been sitting before? Tumelo said, I don't have an answer for that because we rushed Senzo. As to what happened after we left, I would not have any knowledge of that. Mshololo asked, did you see if there is anyone who cleaned the floor at the lounge? Tumelo said, I did not notice that. So during cross-examination, you said, how possible is it that the Ngaches would have followed the suspect?
Good question.
What is it that they were carrying? In other words, you were asking, how would the Ngaches chase an armed person if they were not armed? And Tumelo said, I only asked what they were carrying. Mshololo asked, why did you ask that question? And Tumelo said, I'm asking because it is hard to chase after someone who has a gun and you have nothing. Mshololo said, if it's difficult to chase someone who is armed and that person is not armed, how come Longwe Twala was able to push an armed person and run away? How come also the people who were in the house and unarmed were able to attack the so-called alleged intruder having a firearm? Tumelo said, yay, I hear you. Let's start with Longwe. Longwe's issue is like mine and yours. I'm still asking myself today how he did that. But it is impossible, says Mshololo, for someone who is unarmed to push a person who is armed. And Tumelo said, I'm happy about that part because that person did not die. They're still around. They must come to court and explain how they did it themselves.
Hey.
Mshololo said, don't worry about that person. He's coming. Now it's your turn to answer your question. You said, and then Tumelo said he can answer for himself. How he pushed him, then you say his turn is coming. That is something you must ask him. Mshololo said, I'm asking from you what you have said in this court. And I'm asking your understanding to what you have said to this court regarding Ngache. So I would also have been difficult. It would also have been difficult for Longwe to approach an armed person, same as Ngache. And Tumelo said 100% right. Then Baloyi stood to object.
After answering.
And just before Baloyi stood to object, I heard Tumelo whispering, yeah, I'm lying.
Who's that?
He's talking about the objection.
Oh.
So a lot of people may have misunderstood what Advocate Mshololo, she's later gonna say it. Because I heard that whisper, like, yeah, I'm lying with the interpreter there. And I'm like, Tumelo, what is going on? And then Tumelo said, I'm relaxed. I can answer for myself. What I would like to ask from the advocate, she should not ask me about other people's statements. Then Mshololo said, Mr. Madlala, please behave yourself. This is where I feel like Advocate Mshololo heard him when he was saying, yeah, I'm lying. And then he's like, Mr. Madlala, please behave yourself. Because I saw a lot of people complaining that Advocate Mshololo likes to enforce and stuff like that. But you'll miss this whisper, because there's an objection.
Exactly.
Then Mshololo was like, Mr. Madlala, please behave yourself. And then Madlala said, you too can advocate. Relax, I can answer myself. Then Mshololo said, if there is an objection, Mr. Madlala, you wait and keep quiet until I ask you a question. Then you will answer. Baloyi said it's his evidence on record. No one is answering on his behalf. That is his evidence on the record. So it seemed like somehow Baloyi paused on his objection and he sat down to find out what he can say. And then he said this. And then I'm like, but who said he's not answering for himself? What is Baloyi's objection exactly?
Objection.
I'm like, what is this objection about? Because nobody said he's not answering for himself. And then Mshololo left it for argument. Mshololo continued to say, let's go to the house. And please listen carefully and think before you answer. Then Madlala took offense and said, don't tell me to think before I answer. She's disrespecting me. Heba too.
Then the judge
Can
came.
we say that Tumelo thinks before he answers? I feel like he more like remembers before he answers.
Then the judge came. Respect the witness.
Yeah, the judge said, Mshololo, why do you want to argue with the witness? He must think before he answers. He has been here for 3 or 4 days. Just respect the witness also. What about the witnesses respecting the counsel? What about that?
And he says a case or a mistake. The court is not a joke. It's not a game. But to me, it looks like he's
game.
making it a game. It's
It
like
is a game.
It's that referee who's not gonna referee against you. They kick you. They do everything.
And then they
you
deceive you. They
retaliate.
put
He
a
gives you
veil.
a red card. Boom.
That whole thing of him emphasizing it's not a game, he's actually putting a veil on defense counsel to relax.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the court is a game. Okay, you're fighting for your life in a court of law. You're
Like it
fighting
doesn't
to
matter.
prove your case.
It doesn't matter for the defense. Those ones they have less rights, and then
The witnesses have more
the
rights.
witness has more rights.
I don't understand his
So
court.
and you combine that with the comments of even case 375 is not
what he was hinting on Tuesday
you know,
about 375, that docket doesn't exist. I'm like, and then when Mokwatleng, Dintang.
you just say things just randomly, and then you have that smile. That smile, no.
No,
I'm
no.
not
We're
buying
not
that
going to
smile.
fall for your jokes anymore. We are tired.
And they are not jokes.
We've been
by the way.
traumatized by Mamela before.
They are not jokes. They don't look like jokes. Even you can hardly laugh for like a second on those jokes. You know. It's not jokes, those things. It's how you feel.
No, it could have been nice if you also told Mr. Madlala, we are not here to play. Answer the questions so that we know what you said and we are not confused about what you are saying.
No, I was never going to say that.
Answer the question, Mr. Madlala. It's very simple. If you have no comment, say you have no comment. Let's move on. What's so difficult about telling Tumelo Madlala that, honorable judge?
It's just like, that's not, it's like, I'm laughing, but I'm not.
He's actually scaring me now. I'm scared. So, and then he said, you did not see Zandi running into the bathroom. Tumelo said there is no one I saw where they ran to. Even Senzo, we left each other in the kitchen. Even Senzo, when I go out, he was in the dining. I was being specific about Zandi. Tumelo said there isn't any person that I saw running in the house. Before the shot was fired, did you see Miss Kelly Kumalo running away from the lounge area? And Tumelo said no. Okay, let's come to the alleged first intruder, which is what Mshololo said. Describe the hat that you saw worn by the first intruder. Tumelo said a small Scotch hard hat that you cannot fold. So you cannot give a distinctive description of the hat. Either that it had a small Scotch with a brim, and the interpreter said the witness spoke about pinch and the crown, not the brim. So Tumelo said, I think it's in the court in pictures if advocate wants to see it. Mshololo said, no, don't worry about the picture. I just want to see if you are able to give a full description of that hat. Did you have, or were you wearing a hat in that particular time? And Tumelo said, no. Mshololo asked, do you recall if Mtogo was still there after the first shot was fired? And Madlala said, what I know is that Mtogo was the last person to stand up. I don't know where he went after the first gunshot was fired. He didn't hear the one or the other ones there was noise in his ears. He keeps saying that there was ringing in his ears. So in that ringing of his ears, he's missed 2 shots, allegedly. Mshololo then said, you didn't hear the other gunshot after the first one, correct? Then Madlala said, yes. Mshololo said, you didn't see who shot Senzo Meyiwa, correct? Madlala said, yes, I didn't. I would have pointed him a long time ago. Isn't this funny?
They just saw people who came with the gun.
Mshololo then said, at the time, there was Zandi, Kelly, and their mother. Madlala said, but you are not done. Even this guy, pointing at accused number 2, was there. Mshololo then said, but my question is that Zandi, Kelly, and their mother were there. Madlala said, I cannot answer such a question. You want to answer the question the way you want, and you were not there. I'm the one who was there. So, Mshololo asked, he never said Futek. Tumelo said, I didn't hear him say that. But as far as cell phones and money, I heard him. Did Longwe Twala come back to the house? Tumelo said, I did not see him. Even at the hospital, I didn't see him. I'm not saying he was not there, but I didn't see him. Where was Tumelo?
Longwe.
Tumelo. Where was he in the hospital?
I don't know. Why are you saying where was he?
Because I'm wondering how come he didn't see much,
why,
even in the hospital.
Why do you assume that Longwe was there at the hospital?
I'm not assuming. I'm just asking, where was Tumelo?
No, but this comes from the question of whether Longwe was there in the hospital or whether Longwe was there in the... Isn't it coming from that position?
He didn't seem to be saying also...
Didn't talk.
Even
Togo didn't.
He borrowed.
He said
her phone.
But he did say that there was someone who borrowed him a phone, but he doesn't know those people. You know, so basically, Tabi could have been an unknown person.
So what is Tumelo saying here? He's giving me the impression that he was a loner at the hospital. He was completely alone, isolated.
No, he said he went to kiss her forehead. This is where Judge Ranta would object you like nobody else. Because he said he went to kiss her. He went with Kaylee. He said he saw the mother going in, called by the nurse. Isn't that what Tumelo is saying? But now the issue of Longwe, the guy maybe is telling what he saw. He didn't see Longwe.
Did he?
He didn't see him after that. He didn't see... And honestly, there's consistency in what he's saying. He didn't see Longwe after shooting happened. Didn't see his car. He never said, no, the car could have been dead. No, he didn't see the car. He didn't see Longwe. He didn't see Longwe at hospital.
Mshololo said, outside the premises, when you were carrying the deceased to his car, did you see him? Tumelo said, I did not see him. It was supposed to be Senzo's car at the front, then he's behind the red Polo. We then took Senzo, it moved. But as we were leaving his car, it was not around at the gate. I did not see it.
He said there, if it was there, when the car was moved, it could have moved so that the car could be parked on the other side. But he didn't see that happening. So the car moved freely. So he never saw the car. He never saw the red Polo.
Mshololo asked, and obviously you wouldn't know where he ran to. And Tumelo said, yes, it is so. Did you see Mr. Chico Twala at the hospital? Tumelo said, I did not see him. Mshololo asked, do you know what happened to the deceased's cell phone? And Madlala said, I would not be playing with you, advocate. All I heard is that it was found somewhere under the cupboards in the kitchen. Mshololo asked, do you know who had his cell phone from the incident to the following day? And Madlala said, obviously it should have been Kelly Kumalo as the mother of his child. I don't think it would be with anyone else. So Mshololo said, is it your evidence that you attacked the first suspect? And Tumelo said, I got up, but I never hit him. Was there a stage where you, Mrs. Zandi Kumalo, assaulted the second intruder? And Tumelo said, I don't remember. But the second person I remember, it was just me and Senzo. I don't remember anyone else. Mshololo asked, do you remember if the second intruder was in possession of any weapon? And Tumelo said, I did not see what he was carrying. I just saw Senzo holding his right arm with both his hands. So Mshololo said, in that upper arm, you did not see any weapon. Tumelo said, no, I did not see it. Also, on the other hand, did you see any weapon? In other words, that person was not armed. Tumelo said, I did not say that. I said I did not see. Can you tell this court of any distinctive features of this person? And Tumelo said, I think I explained that yesterday, and I will explain it today again, that he is tall, dark, and had a beard that was round, cut. Then it had something here. Maybe he was pointing here. I didn't see. But I'm going to assume that he was pointing that. It's just my assumption because we are not allowed to see them, guys. So the description is the description that you can only find in that person and no one else can have those features. There's no other person who would have had such a description. Either than the second intruder. So Tumelo said, I don't know how to answer that because I was happy to see him like this here in court. What makes me happy is to see him here in court like this. Now, why would you be happy to see an accused person that you could not describe on the 29th of October 2014 when Officer Steenkamp had her ID kit there? Why would you be happy that after 9 years you can point at them? That's weird.
See, whatever you might say about his testimony, there are few things to me that sound like they are set the way they are. I'm not going to talk about the ones that I would not agree with, as much as I was not part of that. But I do believe that there was no long way at the hospital. And perhaps I do further believe that there was no Chico Twala at the hospital. And why do I say that? Is that the very same man refers to Chico Twala arriving in Malbatin and is not mistaken to say, yeah, Chico Twala came in Malbatin within, is it 1 day or 2 days after the incident? So this person is explaining certain things in a way that could have been the case. No, in a way that I would, in my own belief, they are. You know, that's my own belief. That's my own observation. So it's not a mistake. I don't think it's a mistake.
So Advocate Mshololo said the reason why I'm asking about the distinctive features is because a person can be mistaken with identity for now in 20 years and 100 years. And Tumelo said that happens, but my eyes would never deceive me. I see him clearly. I would never mistaken another person's child. Ngisukela ingane yomuntu mina. Ngeke ngisukela ingane yomuntu mina. And is there no possibility that someone else could cut or trim the beard as you explained? And Tumelo said, yes, it may be possible. So already the beard situation is question mark. Mshololo then said, did you have your cell phone with you? And Madlala said, yes. Did you call the police? Madlala said, no. In my whole life, I have never called the police. Did you call an ambulance? No. And Mshololo asked, that your friend was shot. Madlala said, that's why I called his brother and I called my girlfriend. That meant something to me. I did not call the police. And when you are in that situation, you don't think straight. He only had Sfiso's numbers. He called him after the incident. Then there was no sound on the SABC. I don't know if you guys picked it up, but yeah, it was kind of difficult. Mshololo asked, would Mr. Senzo Meyiwa be correct to say you called him to report the incident? Madlala said yes. Madlala said yes. Mshololo says, at the time, were you in good terms? And Madlala said yes. I was never in bad blood with any of the Meyiwas at the time of the incident. Mshololo asked him now, Madlala, I haven't seen him in a long time. He also no longer stays at home. So he says that they are no longer in speaking terms with Senzo Meyiwa. He met him at a bus depot sometime last year. So caught adjourned for lunch, and after lunch, Mshololo asked, Senzo was tall, not a short person. Tumelo said he was not tall. Advocate Mshololo referred to the NPA from the DPP Gauteng letter, which confirms that the docket was opened against you and the people that were inside the house. So Mshololo says it also confirms, in light of the fact that the decision of the Vosloorus case 375/1/2019 depends on the credibility findings by the trial court in the current trial involving Vosloorus case 36/10/2014. I have therefore decided that the decision of 375 will be made at the conclusion of the current trial. And Madlala said, I can't wait for that docket. I can't wait for it. Why though? Is he trying to confuse the enemy? Because according to Tumelo, it seems like 375 is his enemy. Allegedly. Then Mshololo said, it means then NDPP has not declined to prosecute you. He's still waiting. Madlala said, I hear that very well and I'm waiting for it. Mshololo then asked, how long did it take you to take the deceased after the shooting incident to the hospital? And by the way, guys, remember that the judge said, what did he say on Tuesday? It doesn't exist. 375.
Yes.
So keep that in mind. I know Mshololo is bringing it up, but after what I heard on Tuesday, I'm still trying to process what I heard. Tumelo then said, I was not in a situation to look at the time as to how long it will take, because when the gunshot went off, I ran to the bedroom. I did not notice that Senzo was shot at the time, but it was not long. It did not take too much time. So now we can conclude that Tumelo did not see Senzo getting shot. It's official. He did not see it. Then Mshololo asked, there's a death declaration by a nurse who says at arrival, the victim was not breathing and had no pulse from the car. The pupils were fully dilated and not reaching the light. So this person, it means they arrived very late and the judge intervened to say, how can you say that? Is there anything wrong with Mshololo, what Mshololo said? Is it wrong?
Look, it depends on how you interpret it. It was late for this person to be saved. It was late because it was long. They took long to actually take that person to hospital. So I don't know. I guess the judge went in with that one
Very
of saying,
quickly.
yes, without what is not looking to do this, judge, is to seek clarity. What is that question? What are you saying? Explain what you are saying, and then you explain. It was very late. It could have been to be able to save that person, or it was very late because you guys took so long to actually send that person to the rightful people. You know, there are many ways you can actually argue your way around this thing.
Considering the fact that none of your phones dialed 10,111 at least, you know. So why is this question
What could
wrong?
have been an interesting question would be, since you did not see Chico in hospital, did you see Chico in Vosloorus? Yeah.
That's also a good one. So Mshololo rephrased the question. She asked, did you see the condition that the deceased arrived in the hospital? And Tumelo said, I hear that as you are saying it. So the statement is correct. And Tumelo said, I didn't have time to check those signs. All I was concerned about was whether they'd be able to assist him. Of course, you know. Mshololo asked if there was no prime residue test done on them after they came back from the hospital. And Tumelo said that they took their saliva Tumelo says that he does not recall, he would not know what a prime residue test was. And he was very evasive, in my opinion, with this one. He couldn't recall if it was done on his hands. And then Madlala distanced himself, fall out, denied from portions of his own statements regarding things like that revolver .38 special in describing the intruder's gun. He says that they never came from him. They confuse him. And Baloyi insisted that his witness be allowed to answer, even though Mshololo never asked about the .38 special. She was asking about his statements that he signed immediately after the incident. So Madlala said, I didn't sign for those. And Mshololo says, did you tell the police that? And Madlala said, yes, there was a time when I made a comment about such. When I got to work, I passed Pinetown and went past Pinetown police station, and I told them. And Mshololo said, but I'm talking about this statement. Did you tell him? Madlala said, I didn't refuse to sign. Now, this is the very same statement where it talks about the gun with the wheel and the .38 special. Right? And he's probing, Advocate Mshololo was probing on it, and he just was not being direct with his answers. He says, did you tell him? And Madlala said, I didn't refuse to sign, but I told them later that I heard that there was a revolver and a .38 special being talked about, which I don't know. Now, this is the part where he was starting to deny that whole .38 special and the fact that it was in his statement. Mshololo then said, and you agreed to sign? And Madlala said, yes. Mshololo said, and you were not forced to sign? Madlala said, I have already answered that question, and now you want to go on and ask me about signing. Mshololo then moved to another aspect. Was Kelly Khumalo there? And Tumelo said, yes, she was there at the police station, but she was not in the same room as me when I was taking the statement. Mshololo then asked, remember you said Chico Twala offered to take Kelly Khumalo on a holiday? And Madlala said, yes, that is true. Mshololo said, when? Madlala said, after the incident, we were in Malbatten inside the kitchen, I think Monday or Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. Then Mshololo said, had you already made statements when the holiday offer was made? And Madlala said, I can't remember, but Chico arrived in Malbatten.
Now,
Mshololo.
this is one way of actually putting into light that there could have been maybe something that this holiday was actually insinuating, and actually bringing that into light. And if the judge's objective would listen to that,
He doesn't want to listen to it.
you would have to look at that.
Mshololo then asked, but the offer was made to Kelly Khumalo to go away while the investigation was ongoing. And Madlala said, yes, that offer was made while the investigation was underway. It is also your evidence that the cell phone belonging to the deceased after the day of the incident also belonged to Miss Kelly Khumalo. Tumelo then said, that one I can assure that there is no one who would possess Senzo's belongings. Even the car, she refused with the car to the police. She said it is her man's car. So I think the phone was with her.
Again, assurity here. And commenting, yet you have no much evidence other than what you remember last happening. You do not know for sure, but you are assured. And you are convicted, you are convinced that this is the case. So this man, when it comes to Kelly,
Spot on.
He's
very
he
sure.
doesn't even want to be questionable.
I can't remember. I don't remember well. No, there's none of that. He is sure when it comes to Kelly Khumalo's details. After what was happening, he was very observant there. So, do you know if the deceased ID was kept by Kelly Khumalo? And Tumelo said, yes, it was with her. I remember because there was a brother of mine called Musa who was with John Dubai from Soshanguve. They wanted ID from Kelly. Did she give it to the family member? Do you know? Asking Mshololo. Then Tumelo said it was a quarrel for the ID because she was mad that they arrived with the police. I don't remember if it was Senzo's father and Sfiso who arrived with the police. And she eventually refused with the ID. Tumelo said until Musa and the guy from Soshanguve, she gave it to them. So Advocate Mshololo asked, do you know when did she surrender the ID to the family member? And Tumelo said, I don't remember the day, but they were used to Kelly and they knew her. So they begged her to let go of the ID. And it happened the following week. So Colonel Stein says a swim swap by someone who possibly had an ID belonging to the deceased was made on the 27th of October 2014. And Madlala said that he cannot say who made a swim swap on Senzo's number a day after he was murdered, as testified by Colonel Lamberto Stein, but at the time the ID was in Kelly Khumalo's possession. Did you attend the funeral? Tumelo said, yes. Do you know if Kelly Zandi and Makhumalo attended the funeral? Tumelo said, no, I never saw them. Do you know if Kelly was banned from attending the funeral? And Tumelo said, I don't know. They never approved of Kelly's relationship with Senzo. So Tumelo said he does not know whether she was banned or whether she was willingly not willing to go to the funeral. Then Mshololo said, thank you. I have no further questions. The state re-examined the witness.
Let us like the video, guys. Can we please like the video? Just a reminder, can we like the video first before you continue with that? Like the video. We have 824. We have only 400 likes.
Guys,
Like
I'm out here losing my breath, pushing this. Look, I'm in a hurry. I want to finish so that you guys can call in. And I'm in a hurry. I'm in a hurry here. And you guys don't want to like the video. I'm even losing my breath. Come on, guys. Press that like button. Press that like button. Encourage us.
And subscribe if you're not subscribed. Still need subscribers.
What?
Yes.
Guys, like the video, please. We're begging for likes over here in Mzansi Reality. We're not ashamed. We're not going to beg for money. We're going to beg for likes. We're going to beg. I'm begging you for likes, honey. So, Baloy, as far as the description of the firearm, you mentioned that it had a wheel. And Tumelo said it was a gun that had a wheel because he saw it from the front on the hole. So, if you say it looked like it had a wheel, what are you referring to? Baloy asked. Tumelo said that was not long, that it was not long. The firearm was not long. It was a small gun. He had it in his right hand, just on the handle, holding it like this. Of course, we couldn't see. We've been denied that privilege. You mean around the trigger? And Tumelo said, yes, around there. He held it like a gun that had a wheel. Then Baloy introduced an exhibit. The witness did say he made a statement explaining how the firearm looked like. He requests that the state be allowed to introduce that statement. The purpose is not to self-corroborate the witness, but indicate that the witness has previously said the same thing. The judge asked counsel, any objection? Nisi stood up to say, my lord, I cannot follow what my learned colleague is saying. Ramosipele included, and Ngumalo also said the same thing. Mshololo said, my lord, the only exhibit that has been submitted is exhibit V1. And the judge said he is handing up for a particular reason. Mshololo said V1 is already in court. He cannot submit another V1. And the judge laughed. Baloyi says that the witness says that 3.38 special consistently said he has never mentioned that in his statement, and that he made an additional statement where he explained the issue regarding the 0.38 special. A skewed picture is painted by handing up the state wants to introduce a new statement. The defense counsel was against the introduction of a new statement during re-examination to clear issues that arose during cross-examination. Mshololo said the state was given the opportunity to do that during evidence in chief. They cannot now produce another statement arising from cross-examination.
Which is true.
The judge said, where's the prejudice? Mshololo said because it was not part of the evidence in chief. It only arose during cross-examination. The defense has already examined on the evidence in chief. And if they introduce a new statement, the defense will have to cross-examine again. And the judge asked, where is the prejudice? Now here I felt like, did you even listen to what Mshololo said? Or you just don't care? Well, he said, where is the prejudice? Ramasipile said that he was not there. He says he was not there, and he looked very much disinterested in arguing this one out. And Mnisi said it is not about prejudice. It's about peruse of evidence relating to self-corroboration, inconsistent statements. Then Baloyi said he says he's not handing it up as self-corroboration of the evidence. He is handing it up to demonstrate that the description this witness has given coincides with the explanation in the statement he wants to hand up. This passive aggressive, or not even aggressive, but this passiveness about the introduction of new evidence during re-examination is very unsettling. It's like it doesn't matter that it will be cancelling all the work that the defense counsel has done so far with questioning of the firearm, and it looks like this is definitely unsettling, Mr. Anonymous. So the judge said the court will allow the statement, and they called it Exhibit V2. So in the statement 2802071130 taken by Colonel Shibiri, now the interesting thing is that Tumelo even remembers Colonel Shibiri. He was agreeing that he made the statement with ease. He was agreeing that he was not coerced. He was agreeing that he agrees with everything that statement was saying. Remember how he's always been fickle about such simple questions just before they read him his statements. But this one, he was just flowing like a river, not resisting anything. He even remembers the police officer who wrote that statement for him. He said, I remember him, Shibiri, yeah. So Madlala was quoted saying on that statement that I don't have knowledge of firearms. And another interesting thing before I read the statement, Tumelo refused to read it himself because he says he could not see the handwriting. Yet he signed it. Do you see what's going on here? Tumelo refused to read that statement in court when he was being asked to read it, and he said that, you know what, he can't see the handwriting. But he signed it, and he has no problems with it, but he can't see the handwriting.
Yes.
So, and I quote, I don't have knowledge of firearms. I indicated to the police officer who took my statement that I do not have knowledge of firearms. He didn't say the firearm was a 3.8 special, among other corrections. I think the police officer, with his knowledge of firearms, made a conclusion that the firearm I was referring to in my statement was a .38 special. I don't have knowledge of firearms. That is the statement, guys. It was done in 2018 to debunk the one in 2014.
Yeah. So if someone says, do you have any questions?
And then they didn't.
Yeah, obvious. It's a good thing. I would have left. You accepted it. If you have any questions, Your Honor, by all means.
All of the defense counsels had no cross-examinations. The judge patronizing them like that and saying, do you have any cross-exam? What cross-examination? When Advocate Mshololo asked that we're going to have to prepare for a cross-examination with regard to that evidence, you said, any prejudice? You didn't even respond. So now you are asking them, no cross-examination. I'm like, Judge, what is going on here? I don't mina ukuthi kwenzakalani indaba yakho. Maybe you have some underlying beef with Advocate Mshololo. I don't know. But did you even listen to her argument?
Not only Mshololo. Yes, Mshololo.
Did you listen? Did you
Mshololo
hear
is
her?
getting a whipping, ne? But Nisi is getting a proper one.
Well, the judge said
Nisi
that...
was treated closer to what I've seen Tifo going through.
Yeah.
Even the hand.
Yeah. The judge said that this is about justice and said that they must read that stupid case he keeps mentioning and that one he kept mentioning the first time when he came and annoyed us with his jokes.
You know, there's one thing that this law, as much as people like it, I'm not a fan of it because it does not upgrade and renew. How old is that case?
I don't know and I don't care. He's abusing it at this
And
point.
it seems as if it brings...
Bring other cases to make your arguments. Why do you have to stick up for that one?
One case.
Because it justifies your behavior.
So...
And of course, Baloyi was ready with a textbook like a teacher's pet to read him the paragraph that he wanted to hear. Remember the last time Nisi clobberized him and said, my lord, do you remember that?
Yeah,
incident?
I remember.
This time around, Baloyi was the one ready with the passage. He even knew
He's
where to
always,
find it.
even there, he was the one reading it.
The judge asked if there was a liquid. They put it on his hand. He asked Tumelo. This was after everybody was not having any questions or re-examination. And he asked if there was any liquid that Tumelo got on his hand.
Is this true, guys? You're saying 1908.
1908 of what?
Oh, that case is 1908 to 1928.
Guys, are you serious? It's from 1908. He wants to come here and convince us to agree with his behavior using
It's
a case from
1928.
1928.
No, it's 1928.
1928? Is it serious? What has changed since 1928?
A lot. A lot has changed. We're in 2023 now.
Get a fresher cases that you can reference. That one, no, it's too old.
I told you about this.
It's too old,
Roman.
and it probably doesn't align with us. It
Hey.
doesn't align with us.
I
in
told you
Africa.
about this Roman Dutch law. Nonsense, that thing. Hey, you don't know law. What he mean is that you do not know how to obey the Roman Dutch law.
You know, guys, I was so annoyed. I was so annoyed. I was so pissed. But now I've come down a bit. I was more angrier than this when I saw that. I was so pissed. Bengvuta.
Yeah, you
But now
guys
I've
can
come
call,
down.
but just a bit. What these defense lawyers should do when they argue their case is that if a witness in case 1 becomes a suspect in case 2, or there's that possibility of becoming a suspect in case 2, it complicates those matters. The witness in this case, my lord, could be like typical individuals who would provide wrong information. So it did not serve this case. It did not serve this case properly to have people who stand a chance of being accused, depending on the very same case. So if this case is anything to go by, it screams unfairness.
It is unfair.
It screams unfairness to say that there is a possibility of us pursuing the people who are standing here testifying as accused. So your testimony, therefore, will be to cater for that not to happen. So that is unfair. That is unfair. The fact that we are told about that, the fact that we know about that is unfair. So yeah, you guys can call now.
Guys, please call in. Are you as pissed off as I am at what happened in those proceedings? They didn't make sense. They didn't make sense at all. Why do you overlook everything that everybody's saying? I even saw some people on the chat saying they didn't argue properly.
Nzanzi, hello. Nzanzi, hello.
Mr. Anonymous, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Emily?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay, man. Look, guys, the point that Mr. Anonymous is making now in terms of these witnesses being possible suspects, if you remember, Advocate Mshololo did raise that matter.
Yes.
That you are making these statements because you are safeguarding your charges in another matter, because you know that there's a possibility that you are a suspect in terms of that the other docket, which is why this judge keeps on saying or makes a joke and say that docket does not exist, which is also a joke of Vaseline, you see. But I just wanted to start with that point because you were making it now, Mr. Anonymous. But I want to start by reminding you that you remember the case of Judge Klope.
Yes.
And I'll tell you why I'm reminding you of that case. You know, these judges, when they are given cases to go and preside over, you know that they, especially in the High Court, you know that they get a briefing from either the Deputy Justice or the Chief Justice.
Yes.
And if they get a briefing, they are told this case, who are involved in this case, and what is happening with this case, and they are even told that this is what is expected of you in that matter. Because in a case of law, in a court of law, both the defense, the prosecution, and the judge were not are people who were not there in the incident.
Yes.
And they are all expected to rely on the witnesses to test the veracity of the information that the witnesses are giving. Now, this judge is not testing the veracity of the witnesses, which is something that he must comment on when he makes a judgment. He's actually putting things that he's supposed to put in a judgment right in front of the court.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
And if you remember when Tumelo said, can I deal with these people that made me to sign that statement? Can I open a case against them? And then the judge says, no, he laughs sarcastically because that's what he does. He has this sarcasm of laughing. He laughs and then he says, I'm not going to give you that answer. Read my judgment. Already he has a judgment in mind, this guy. You see? So and when the witnesses are answering questions, he has this tendency of saying, when he wants to answer a question for the witness, he has this tendency of saying, just for clarity, I know it's not. I know it is part, and then he pointed Vaseline. He says, I know it is part to object, but I just want. In other words, he reminds Vaseline that this is what you must object. You see? So, in my view, they get a briefing to say this is the case of doing, and this is what is expected of you. You see? So, but like you say, Anonymous, you are correct. Tumelo is saying some of the things that did happen the way they happened. One, I agree with you. I don't think Chico went to the hospital. Remember that Chico was given an interview by Kolingam.
Yes.
And in that interview, he says when after receiving a call from Kelly, I immediately called Ivan Koza. And after that, I went to Katlehong at Kelly's house. And then later on, he changes. He maybe makes his mind, and then he says, "No, I did not go to Kelly's house. I went straight to the hospital." So already that I doubt he did not go to hospital.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
Otherwise, Tumelo should have seen him.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
If Tumelo was a best friend of Senzo, and at that time Kelly was frequenting Chico's house as her producer, so surely they would have a time where they went there with Senzo. So Tumelo would know Chico. You see. So if Zandi at the hospital sees Chico going down the wall and sitting down, where was Tumelo? Why didn't he see Chico? You see? And also he's correct. It's not true that this guy Long went to the hospital. You see, what happens here? I mean, we are all logical thinkers. What happened here after the shooting? Longwe drove his car and went away. And Chico only came to see them in Malbati. And the offering of the holiday there was just to appease Tumelo to say, if you also want, we will give you a script and you maintain that script and then we'll give you something. You see? So it was an indication to him, hence that the proposal was made in front of him to appease him, to say, there's all the money in the world that can make you silent on this matter, allegedly. You see? Now, another thing, when he stays there, it was a good question on Mshololo to say, why do you stay there the whole week? What are you doing there the whole week? So, and you remember this guy Mtogo says sisitholeni isikhathi sokuformulate istory. And I said previously when I called, they formulated it in Malbertin. They had all the time in Malbertin to formulate the story. And finally, if you remember, I think it was Mtogo's testimony. He says, when we came back from the hospital, there was this guy, people, and there was this guy, a prominent guy from soccer, which I will not mention. Now, that must say something to you, that he has been warned that some of these names must not be mentioned anywhere. No, thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
All alleged.
A lot
Public
to think
opinion.
about.
Thank you. Zanzi, hello.
Think about.
All right. Zanzi, hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you, sir? We can hear ourselves at the back.
Sorry, I just called it now.
Yes.
Hi.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on this caller that is explaining also, but I've got a question
Yes.
that I want to ask you guys because I'm not living in Joburg. I'm in Kentucky.
Right.
I just want to ask if the hospital falls in Katlehong or Phosphorus. Phosphorus, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. If you probably sometime, maybe not tomorrow, just listen to what Chico said when he was called by kids. He mentioned that the only time that he saw Senzo is when he was called by kids and went to Katlehong. You see? So Katlehong Hospital, where he finds Senzo lying there. If you watch that you will see that this guy is not making sense, because as I thought as much, Katlehong is that hospital is not falling at Katlehong. And if you hear from the people that are giving testimony about Chico arriving in hospital, they say instead of getting where Senzo was, he said he go down with a wall, like, think, after he had me, So that's my submission. That's my confusion with Chico, that he has also allegedly has also his son lied by saying he went to Katehong Hospital, where that hospital is not for Katehong. Nevertheless, based on what Emily said, I had a problem with the judge also as well today, because I've seen that something is like, because he was using those temperature guys and where is Mshololo and other things say that why is now the state presenting a new evidence on the examination? Now, my concern was this. As I said previously, I called talking about my case. It was an internal case, except that one of a criminal case. Even if it's a criminal case or external case, as we working with them, externally, even internally, externally means that at the justice. Internally, maybe like APS has got a case, something like that. You are as a person, because internally, the people like the advocates, the external, which is criminal, are the shop stewards, like pop people. So those people, both lawyers and internally, which is the people that are standing for us in APS, they should have all the statements. There must be a statement that is being upheld by the state. Because how are they going to prepare the way? Because if that document was being given right before the cross-examination, or before even the what you call the evidence in chief, they could have had a way of aligning. Now, if you check there, the judge was contradicting himself, because he says, where is the prejudice? And then they couldn't see, because the prejudice is about race, and fairness in the race, in terms of race, because you are not fair because of the race and stuff. You see? But now, when it comes to them, it comes to the justice, that is the fairness. They were not, the councillors were not given a fairness, because now he's asking, after that, he's doing the same thing that he asked from this guy, the black mamba, that he said you are going to read the postmortem, the report, but now I say you ask the question. Now he said he's doing the same thing now to the councillors, that there's no prejudice, but now he's asking them to cross-examine. Why? How can he? It's just ambushing them. That how are you going to prepare such statement which is being introduced now? So that's my submission.
No, thank you. Thank you very much. It is all alleged. Let me answer this. Zanzelo. Zanzi, hello.
Hello. Just switch off. Sorry. Yeah, Mr. Anonymous.
Hi, sir. How are you?
I'm great.
Good.
Greetings.
Yeah, struggling to hear you a bit.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. Greetings, Emily.
Hi.
Hi, I'm here. I'll be sweet and soft today. My only one issue on which I use a very serious concern, it is the attitude that the judge has towards the defense.
Yes.
So much so that it makes them look a bit incompetent, and it gives a reasonable ground for people like witnesses like to disrespect the defense.
Yes.
I've been like checking it today. The manner of answering and approaching the questions. It comes with a high level of disrespect.
Yes.
And the minute when now the witness is to be protected, the judge reacts.
Yes.
You see this approach of how can you say that? To maybe advocate Mshololo and the rest of the defense team. I find it very, very disturbing and destructive for the court, to be be driving such narrative because it already gives a certain, I don't know, reasonable ground for them for the state as much more, particularly the witnesses, to disrespect. You might have seen the tendency and the sequence from Bolore all the way. This high level of disrespect, and there's a manner in how I think they've scripted themselves that this is how we should agitate the defense because therefore be protected by the judge. Let's do as please, and I find it very destructive. It says as though there's a premeditated judgment which is made in place. So therefore, the judge normally he can't reprimand the witnesses as much as he does towards them the defense. Like Mr. Anonymous was elaborating that when it comes to me, it's even worse. He doesn't want to hear anything. So he doesn't even listen attentively to understand that at what point is the defense raising this what I call statement. He just answers and crashes them. How could you say that? You know when you're addressing somebody who's more like incompetent in a way, and that gives that platform. You see, you can just respect the witness. But now, like you said, what about the respect that should be reciprocated towards the defense?
Yes,
that's all. My major concern was throughout the proceedings today.
Yeah.
And thank you so very much. Let's encourage each other to keep liking. I see the graph is escalating towards there. My prayer, as I always say, is that we should quickly reach 100 subscribers on this court of public opinion. And yeah, that one is not alleged. We just need to reach 100 subscribers.
Yes.
But thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Keep helping and opening the eye to the nation. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Right. So, guys, please subscribe and please like.
So, guys, can we say that this is a fair trial?
Look, right now we cannot preempt anything. Maybe they're listening. We're going to see a mistrial. And then
it doesn't feel fair.
Look, you cannot preempt. Why we are pointing out what is happening to build up that case of unfairness. But to say it's unfair altogether,
not yet.
It would not be fair on its
too
own.
Early.
Zanzi, hello.
Hello.
Hi, sir. How are you?
I'm new.
All good, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Very audible, sir. Just
Clear.
Okay. Hi, Emily.
Hi.
No, I'll be very much short, but I'm long enough to cover my bases. I've got nothing to say besides this. First thing first, my question will be: who will be the next witness? According to you, Mr. Anonymous. And another thing, I'd like to agree with you that our justice system, it's a bizarre. Our justice system, is not make sure icon. If you can take a like, you'd see that us as black people, we don't know the state is being formulated. The state was formed by white people, and then we inherited that. So we don't know how does the state operate. You understand? That's why we have such incompetent. And if you can look at Mr. Baloyi, what is the duty of Mr. Baloyi is to represent the state or defend the person who is in the. I feel to
Oh, you're breaking.
Then you will rise and object. My network is not good here. I just wanted to say that. But please, be the next. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We missed some of the things. Thank you.
Hey, the line.
The line was not good.
Bad.
Right.
But yeah, it does get confusing. Is the state representing Senzo Meyiwa or is it representing the witnesses? I don't understand. Sometimes the lines are very blurry. I get confused. So I feel like at some point we forget that this is Senzo Meyiwa trial. We forget sometimes. It's like now a combative battle.
You see, in fact, that case of let us not play the chess game with the case, it does apply also to states.
Yes.
To say that, are we looking for
justice?
Or we're looking to save more money by not going to a second one? What are we looking for?
The lines are very blurry and unclear as to why is this trial even happening to begin with, because it feels like the state is representing the witnesses. You know, it's
I understand. I mean, these people came through you to assist you, and obviously you must give them that. But what are they
assisting? Because so far they haven't assisted.
It's like they are here to clean themselves.
Yes.
That sounds like that. Instead of giving us what is happening, what happened in that house, it's like they are here to cleanse or to off the record.
Their images. To say we had nothing to do with what happened to Senzo. It's giving that. It's not giving...
It's defense mechanism that is there. Like defense. I mean, for someone who's looking for justice for their friends, for example, for someone who's been looking for justice such that they even wrote a letter, for them to be on a defensive mood when they are being questioned in trying to find or reach that truth, it is worrisome.
It's troubling.
Yeah, so guys, I think today, I would say it's a bye from me.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Otherwise, tomorrow is the wrong day. And who's coming, Emin, according to your thinking?
I'm going to take a wild guess and say Maggie Phiri. Why not?
Why wouldn't they bring Mosia back?
And then tell us that the witnesses from the house or
considering
incident are not available.
Look, considering the pattern of this case, we have seen witness.
Yeah, especially after the ones from the house.
Yeah, and
they
then
have
jump.
To bring in someone different.
If someone goes off, very off, then they bring something different.
Yeah, you might be right.
So you might be expecting an expect of some sort. Because we are all anticipating Phiri and Khumalo if they are there on the list. If they are there, I mean, we don't know who's there now.
Khumalo, Maggie Phiri. I need to see those two.
Zanzelo? Hello.
What's in?
Shikona, sir?
Phone.
Right, it happens. It's at night, guys. It's in morning, actually. It's a bye from me. Not taking any other calls.
Let's wrap it up. Tomorrow we'll have longer.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Tobega D. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Moyo, Aunt Moyo.
Ngakhumbula uDefati monkey tricks.
Yeah, monkey tricks.
Please like
the video, guys, and subscribe. Monkey tricks are there. That's what I always say. Whatever you're given, never trust it to the fullest. You know, because there's that element of surprise, and the freedom that is given to the states is such that they can surprise you after you work so hard in building whatever narrative that you are trying to build, and then they come and debunk with one paper.
Crush it with one paper that they've been holding on and sitting on. I remember bringing this up. Is it fair to bring you evidence?
Look, it's fair. It is allowed. It's not unheard of. It is there.
So you just.
But there must be.
You allow people to argue about the gun, and then you're like, okay, this gun is debunked.
You must put the reason for bringing that such that it does not seek to self-corroborate, do more damage than actually help. It must be in that form of helping. And in this case, the feeling is that it was to debunk, which is in line with actually self-collaboration.
But the judge doesn't care about that. He wants to read us a paragraph from a case from 1924. Vale.
Bye, guys.
Allegedly. I'm so pissed, man. I'm so angry.
Bye, guys.